Okay, that should have everything back the way it's supposed to be. Oh, what a morning! What a morning! Is This is not a morning for the week today. Man, I forgot to shut off the volume on my phone. This has not been a morning for the week. Well, actually, the past 20 some hours has not been a day for the week. It, my wife's printer decided that it would only print in black ink. All of the color ink heads, the magenta, the yellow, and the blue, were clogged. So I've been running cleaning programs on that thing. Started last night. Then, of course, I went to bed. And I finally got to bed an hour after I normally go. Got that and still working on it this morning. Most of the print heads are now unclogged and working fine. There's still a couple that are clogged that I'm running the cleaning program. Hopefully they'll get unclogged. It's burning through this ink is a lot cheaper than buying a new printer. We had this. I've got a Epson 2076, I believe. It's one of those. It's really nice. I mean, I got nothing but praise for these Epson printers here. These are the ones I believe it was Shaq was advertising. Well, good morning. You decided to come over and lay down next to me, Spanky. Okay, well, good morning. Um, anyway, it's they don't take ink cartridges. You actually buy bottles of ink and you add them in. And the bottles of ink are really cheap compared to the ink cartridges for the amount of time you get out of them. Anyway, so got that going on. I'm still working on that. Then booking flights for my sister to come down, and I could get the name to change, but I couldn't get the birth dates to change. So I ended up calling I was doing American Airlines. So I called American Airlines and got through to their digital assistant. And it's real simple. If you want to change the name and the birth dates of the passenger, you just delete the last name. Don't change it. You delete the last name, then it comes up allowing you to change things. So I went ahead and made all the changes, got it all put in, paid the $790 for the round trip tickets, including the insurance. And it turns around. I pick out the seats, got her great seats. I mean, she's 70 years old and she has to use a wheelchair to get through airports. If she's got to go long distances, she needs a wheelchair. I mean, like she's like me. I can walk around the house without my cane, mostly because I got things I can grab onto if I need to. But if I go out of the house, I'm using my cane. So when she gets to airports and such, she's got to use a wheelchair. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So finally got the tickets and everything done up, and turns around and it reverted back to my name. So I had to call American Airlines again. They have to cancel my reservations that I made and rebook. And the thing is they said, oh, instead of $790 for your round trip tickets, it's going to be $990. I'm like, what? And of what it is, availability versus price. Every time they book a ticket, the price goes up on the rest of the seats. So there's a lesson for you. Book your flights as early for the best price. Book them as early as you possibly can. I'm booking for the end of November and the last week of November, the first week of December. And just changing one seat was a $100 increase in price. No, $200 increase in price from $790 to $990. Absolutely ridiculous, but and of course this was for round trip tickets, so $100 each way. So I finally get the tickets and everything straightened out, and I turn around and ask him about the insurance as $61 insurance policy. That way, for some reason, the flights get canceled or she has to cancel because she gets sick or something, then I get my money back. I mean, $700 is a lot of money. Almost $800. A lot of money. At least to me, it is. Now, I know we got some rich people out there that $800 is like pocket change. You know, I carry that around for walking money. I don't know if I would ever. I don't know how much money I would have to have that I would walk around with $1,000 as pocket money. You know, walking around money. Whereas, you know, just walking around, not going out to go shopping for something or anything like that. And then at that point, why, other than money for lunches, what do you need that much money for? And what kind of place are you going to go to for lunch that you're going to spend $1,000 for two people? I'm just assuming that's, two people. Because if you got that kinds of money, you're going to have a wife or a girlfriend with you. So anyway, even if she's with you just for the money, you're still going to have one of them with you. So had to call Airlines. Hey, morning, Ramen. Oh no. Out for the day shopping. Oh, that's wonderful. Spend lots of money there, did you? Or well, it doesn't matter even if you're grocery shopping, just spend lots of money. Help keep the economy strong. Spend lots of money. Spend enough money that I don't have to. But anyway, finally, so we got, well, thank you. So we ended up having to do the same thing, canceling the the original flight insurance policy and refunding that money back. And then charging the new one. So right now, I've got on my credit card charges for 2 round trip tickets, 2 sets of insurances, and refunds for one set of each. Oh, oh. Well, yeah, but if you're going out shopping, then I mean, you'd put it on plastic. Why carry the cash? I mean, if you got that much money, then just put it on your your Amazon American Express Black Card. Oh, and You don't have to worry about it. Yeah, you're right. Didn't say it was smart. So, but anyway, finally got that done. And while I was talking to them, I was putting away dishes, and my wife washed my cast iron skillet last night. So now I had to re-scrub it out because it started to rust. And I've got it in the oven at 450 degrees for 20 minutes to get it all good and completely dry. Yeah, I love my wife, and and I got she's a fan of iced coffees, but she doesn't get them because she agrees with me. They're not worth the price. They're too expensive to make it worth the price. And Keurig has actually got a contraption. No, it's not going to catch fire. Keurig's got a contraption that you can make your own iced coffee at home. It's sort of like my ice cream maker. It's got an outer wall that you fill with water. Then you got a little inner thing you fill with water, and you keep it in your freezer. When you pour your hot coffee into it and swirl it around, it gets your coffee ice cold. And then you add, pour it in your cup, add your flavorings and creamers and whatever, and voila, you got iced coffee. Well, I got her one of those as a gift, and it showed up yesterday. And she just happened to get a flask, a thermal flask for a gift from her work for having been there for 25 years. And, they gave her a $25 flask for being there for 25 years. So filled that with iced coffee for her this morning. I made her up some iced coffee, and I let her put in her own creamers and such because I don't know how much of that crap to put in for her. So when she left to go to work this morning, she had iced coffee, she had a smoothie, and she had sweet tea. And all that will be gone by the time she gets home tonight. So if you are a fan of iced coffees, after one use, I would recommend the Keurig iced coffee thing. It wasn't that expensive. It was only like $35. But at $7 a pop for iced coffees at Starbucks or any place like that, uh, that pays for itself in a hurry. Plus, now she can make her own iced coffees whenever she wants. I cleaned it out, put it back in the refrigerator, and it'll be good to go when she gets home from work tonight. She'll be able to have more iced coffee if she wants. So she can have 2 iced coffees a day. That makes her happy. That makes her real happy. Uh, we got thunderstorms again today. My skies are getting black. Oh, well. As long as I don't lose power, I'm happy. Anyway, so between and the wife's computer went down last night. I had to fix it. So between computers, printers, and trying to book airline tickets, the last, let's see, this started about 6 o'clock last night. Took a break from 10 to 5, and then took a 7-hour break and started all over again. And I still don't know if I got the printer fixed. Uh, it's 90% of the way there, and still had a few lines that the jets were clogged. So, and once I get that fixed, then I gotta print out some wallet-sized photos for her because I had to do that on her computer for her last night. So, ah, it's all good. It's all good. Life is good. That kind of stuff. That kind of stuff. You know, it makes her want to keep me around. Just fixing her computers and fixing her printers and making her iced coffee. She didn't kick me to the curb for that, for anything else, because I do that kind of, I'm good for something around the house. Okay. So what are we going to talk about today here? Let's talk about New York Attorney General Letitia James again. This is getting interesting. Now, Ms. Letitia James, let me remember, she got infamous for going after Donald Trump. There she is. Remember, she ran for office on the promise that she was going to get Donald Trump. That was her thing. She was going to make Donald Trump wear prison orange and be behind bars. He wasn't going to have his gold toilet seat, his gold toilet. He wasn't going to have people bouncing around at a fingertip. He wasn't going to be able to get his McDonald's and Diet Coke. Was it that? Yeah, it's Diet Coke he drinks. He wasn't going to get his Big Mac. All that was there. So, and then it come to light, her shenanigans about lying, potentially, allegedly, lying on mortgage applications, claiming residency in states other than New York. That, okay. Yep, that's the oven shutting off that I've got my cast iron skillet in. I'm going to let it sit there for a while, cool down. The U.S. Department of Justice has subpoenaed New York Attorney General Letitia James' office in a criminal investigation. Two grand jury, two, not just one, but two, seeking information about James's investigation into the Trump Organization and the National Rifle Organization. There's also a grand jury investigation into James in Albany, New York. It's said to be looking into deprivation of rights against Trump. Investigating the fraud case Attorney General James won against President Trump and his business has to be the most blatant and desperate example of this administration's carrying out the president's political retribution. Weaponizing the Department of Justice. Ooh, who? No, nobody ever weaponizes the Department of Justice. Joe Biden and the Democrats didn't weaponize the Department of Justice, did they? No. And we know that, I mean, come on, we know that Letitia James crooked as hell with her investigations into Trump. Redoing things in such a way they'd never been done before. So she's on that receiving end. Now, white collar fraud, they did a a really nice report here. The federal criminal case against Letitia James, complete roadmap for Special Prosecutor Ed Martin. Here's the systemic destruction of every defense and the roadmap to the most documented mortgage fraud case in modern political history. This appointment represents federal violation of extensive documentary evidence that they've compiled over months of investigation. When career prosecutors and federal agencies review evidence and conclude it warrants a special prosecutor oversight, confirms it's serious. So let's get down here and see what it does. 40 years of criminal enterprise spans 3 properties. As consistent as damning, the pattern spans decades. At a Brooklyn apartment on Lafayette Avenue, James spent over 20 years systemically misrepresenting a legally documented 5-unit building as having only 4 units across more than 10 different mortgage transactions, enabling her to secure federal HAMP relief and favorable residential loan terms she wasn't entitled to, while systematically violating financial disclosure laws to conceal the true scope of her mortgage obligations from state oversight. In 1983, records showed James and her father co-signed mortgage document identifying themselves as husband and wife rather than father and daughter. This isn't the first time we've had incestuous relationships misrepresented as husband and wife with Democrats. Oh yeah, Ron. Well, Coca-Cola products, with the exception of Dr. Pepper, is nasty anyway. And Dr. Pepper really isn't a Coke product. It's just the company that owns Dr. Pepper uses Coke as one of their distributors. In some areas of the country, they use Pepsi too. So, but this establishes a pattern of falsely identifying misrepresentations on federal mortgage documents that spans over 40 years. This early evidence demonstrates that James' sophisticated understanding of mortgage fraud began decades before her Brooklyn Properties accusations, making the subsequent systemic misrepresentations of a part of a long-established criminal mythology rather than isolated errors. Yeah, when you make the same mistake or similar mistakes, and I'm using air quotes around the word mistakes, because that's what she's claiming they were. And that somebody else made the mistakes on her behalf. But remember, in the case against Trump, it didn't matter that someone else made the mistakes on his behalf. He was still criminally responsible for them. When she expanded to Virginia, the fraud became more brazen, involving more phantom mortgages, a false declaration witnessed by her own government employees, and continued systemic concealment from state financial disclosures that created a shell game of concealed and phantom debt across her properties. The enterprise reached its stunning climax in 2023 when James signed a false sworn declaration just weeks before launching her Trump prosecution. So let's see here. This is the graph that's there. In 1983, false identity. Father daughter is on there as husband and wife, jointly mortgaged. In 2021 and 2023, unit fraud count. Legal fraud units reported as 1 to 4. 10 plus false mortgage statements. HAMP fraud. Okay, a 20-year pattern. In Virginia, the residency fraud. Email says never a Virginia resident, sworn principal residents with attorney general staff as witnesses. That hides that property from disclosures. All of this under New York financial disclosure fraud, phantom mortgages reported, real mortgages hidden, properties concealed, and filed under the penalty of perjury. Then that drops down to the Federal Housing Family Act criminal referral. Special prosecutor Ed Martin, 40-year criminal enterprise begins. Investigation. 40 years of criminal enterprise, at least 12 fraudulent statements being on legal documents. Oh, really? You put lemon in a Coca-Cola? The only thing I ever found that made Coca-Cola worthwhile drinking was Jack Daniels. And that was 2 parts Jack to 1 part Choke. And that was, I haven't drank a Coca-Cola and Jack. I haven't drank that in at least 35 years, possibly closer to 40 years. That frog of shame was the first thing I could come up with this morning because I was actually uh, set up the stream on another computer than the one normally use. So I didn't have any of my avatars or anything else on it. Just that was the only picture I had on there that I could use. My frog of shame. If I could have had something, I should have looked for a Shiva or any other multi-armed creature and just put, my shroom over top of it. Shroom with multiple arms trying to get everything done. Because I'm telling you, I'm still not done getting things up together. Luckily, I've luckily finished paperwork, but I've still got to run through bills and everything else. And plus I've got a doctor's appointment with my neurologist this afternoon, which is a good thing because I need more pain pills. So, but anyway, so Ms. James, Letitia James, she's really looking at, years behind prison with all the crimes that she's committed. Okay, so let's get back over to this. What happened here? Okay, I see what happened. So let me get back to this page. All right, the Brooklyn property. All right, okay. Let's see here. Start off with Virginia. The Virginia fraud is merely the latest chapter in what appears to be the fourth decade. The certificate of occupancy, January 26th of 2001. It's a legal 5-unit building. However, okay, physical evidence, 6 electric meters, 5 doorbells, confirming and then when you actually get there, you physically confirm 5 units. However, every mortgage for the at least 20 years consistently reported as 1 to 4 units. Ramen, not only no, but hell no. I will not see Hamilton. I haven't seen it. I won't endorse it. I don't care how good everybody says it is. It's a piece of trash in my as far as I'm concerned. Oh yeah, definitely. I don't know if I'd want to squat though in Virginia. Not what because I mean they do have a Republican uh, Congress there and a Republican governor for now. So of course, and this is something that's we'll get into this later on, but you know there's a young lady running for governor as a Republican of Virginia, a black woman. We're not hearing anything in the press about her being potentially the first African American governor of Virginia. There's no singing her praises, her background, how she struggled as a child, no matter how well off her family was, and and how she is going to break the glass ceiling by being the first black female governor of Virginia. Now, I'm sure that if she wasn't a Republican, that the press would still be not giving her the same attention that they gave Kamala. You know, always every time they talked about Kamala running for president, how she was going to be, how she was going to break the barriers, break that glass ceiling. We're just not going to see that. I mean, there's no way that if she was a Democrat running for office, that the media wouldn't be falling all over themselves singing her praises. So let's see here. In 2021, back to Letitia James here. 2021, her mortgage, Citizens Bank, a 1 or 2 family residence. 2019, Citibank, 4 family. 2017, Wells Fargo's, 4 family. 2015, Municipal Credit Union, 4 family. U.S. Bank, 4 fam. 2007, 1 to 2 residents with American General. In 2006, American General again, 1 to 3 family. 2005, MERS, 4 family. 2003, MERS, 4 family. 2001, back to Chase again. Oh no, this is the first time she was with Chase. Only time, 1 or 2 family. Oh yeah, old guy. Well, if you're booking for yourself, it's pretty straightforward online. Booking for yourself is a piece of cake. Booking for someone else. I was booking flights for my sister to come down for Thanksgiving. And the whole process, start to finish, took me over 2.5 hours. Yep, the whole process over took me over 2.5 hours to get everything straight. And I'm only praying that it's straight. I've got to pull up the confirmations and make certain as soon as the stream's done, I'll pull up the confirmations and look at them, make certain that they got the right seats and everything. But yep. And another thing, like I said, old guy, I ended up having to call the airlines, and well, you do know there's a possibility that the price of these tickets are going to go up almost 200 or go up $200. But once they canceled, trying to book the flights again, it was going to go up $200. But once they canceled the flights that I made and then rebooked them, the prices stayed the same. And the only difference was it freed up 1 seat on each of the 4 flights. So that 1 seat, $50 per airline, because flight from here to another airport for a 3 hour layover and then flight to her home airport and vice versa. 4 different flights, a $50 per seat flight increase, price increase. Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, you should have bought that. Hey, morning, Paul. Oh, there was a incident down the road, and they saw my security cameras, and they were hoping that I had a continual live feed on my security cameras, or that my cameras had caught the vehicle traveling up or down the road. Because I live on a dead end. Dead end, dead end, dead end, dead end, dead end. And and the way I've got my security camera set up is every minute, unless as long as it's not activated, it just takes a 3 second video every minute. And so there's 57 seconds that somebody can travel past my house and not get caught on video. 57 seconds every minute. So yeah, that was the thing. Really couldn't help them, but uh, they wanted to look at my security cameras and see if any, videos, see if anything popped up. Last time I had that happen, there was, well, it's been a couple of years, but there was a shooting down the road from me, or a reported shooting. I don't know if anything actually came of it or not. So See, and my question here is Citibank. All right, it went from it seems like every 2 years is should they refinance the house, this property. And how can it go from a 1 to 2 family if they if these institutions that were loaning her the money, why would they not question it going from 1 or 2 family to 4 family to 4 family to 1 to 3 family to one back down to 1 to 2, then up to 4, then back down to 1 or 2? That American General, you've really got no excuse because it went from 1 to 3 to 1 to 2. Don't these banks talk? Don't they look at each other mortgage paperwork to verify things? So the bank, I mean, or were they, this is Letitia James. She's a politician. We're just going to take her word on it. Is that what they were doing? That just does not make sense. And then let's see the federal hemp fraud in 2011. James obtained a federal HAMP mortgage modification program explicitly excluding buildings with 5 or more units. So she lied and said it only had 4 units. Building on Gilbert's initial findings, their subsequent investigations revealed critical handwritten modifications in the HAMP agreement that appeared designed to create ambiguity. 4 fam hastily written in one corner, and a contradictory note stating not more than 6 residential units. This isn't just mortgage fraud, it's defrauding a federal relief program intended for struggling homeowners. So, I mean, this woman has committed more fraud for more years than what she investigated and made up about Trump. Okay, let's see here. The certificate of occupancy that was issued in 2001 explicitly classifies the property as a 5 family dwelling, directly contradicting James's repeated claims of it being a 4 unit building on mortgage applications and permit filings over 20 years. Now I'll go ahead and I'll go ahead and I'm going to put a link to this because this is really a quite lengthy article, and it goes through every mortgage that this woman and had her name on. Creamy corn, creamy beef and shells. I think we're following the same guy there, Ramen, because Yeah, I saw him do something like I saw something like that the other day too. And see, well, let's not get into cooking yet. So, I mean, they even go to her primary residence. I'll cover this, and this will be the last I talk about her for now. The email that destroys every defense in August 2nd, 2023, Latita James sent an email to her mortgage broker about Virginia property she was purchasing. The message was unambiguous. This property will not be my primary residence. I will never be a Virginia resident. And there's the email. The very next day, on August 3rd, her broker confirmed that James's role was listed as a non-occupying co-borrower, and the loan was locked. And the loan was locked as a primary residence product. And there that is. Let me. Oh crap! It's not. So, all right. So, will you? All right. Here, Section 5 declarations. Will you occupy the property as your primary residence? That says no. If yes, have you had ownership interest in another property in the last 3 years? They've got that marked as yes. Let's see here. The false declaration wasn't signed in a private setting where James might claim confusion. It was witnessed by two employees from her own attorney general's office. Jennifer Levy, James's first deputy attorney general and lead prosecutor in the Trump civil fraud case, and Sharona Parchment, another AG staff office member. Both signed under penalty of perjury that they witnessed James execute this fraudulent document. The same legal professionals who were simultaneously building a case against Trump for financial misrepresentation. The false power of attorney was recorded with the mortgage and official property records and has never been modified or corrected. That's worse than what she went after Trump for. The false charges, the made up charges that she went after Trump. So go ahead and read this article if you want. It goes through and it just talks about all the properties. It's got the evidence. It gives links to documents and other things. It is, I mean, if I went through all this, I would have to schedule up it'd have to be a day like next week where I've got absolutely nothing going on in the afternoon. And this would be a 4 or 5 hour stream. And I'm not going to do an 8 hour stream like Monkey does. Because one, I can't think of anything. I can't think of too many things that would keep anybody's attention for 8 straight hours. Oh yeah, that's exactly old guy. She was committing the same crimes that she was accusing Trump of. Okay, let's see here. Here's another good article that popped up. Now we got the Supreme Court has made rulings, made multiple rulings, some that favor Trump and some that don't. But the rulings that favor Trump, for some reason, these lower district judges think they can ignore them. That the Supreme Court rulings don't mean anything, or that they found a way to get around what the Supreme Court ruled. This is an independent journal review article. So you can, it's Daily Caller. So you can, the bias, such as it is there. Okay. U.S. District Judge Gia Cobb, an appointee of the Biden administration, blocked Trump administration on Friday from using a process known as expedited removal to quickly remove illegal migrants from the country. That order could, at least for the time being, dramatically curtail. The Supreme Court ruled that he could have the expedited removals. But here's this district judge, a Biden appointee, saying, yeah, nah, we're not going, that don't mean nothing. In a public statement about the ruling, the administration spokesman slammed the Biden appointed judge, accusing her of defying a previous court ruling. Judge Cobb is flagrantly ignoring the United States Supreme Court, which upheld expedited removals of illegal aliens by a 7-2 majority. But now they've got to go back to court to get her ruling thrown out. So she's getting what she wants. She's getting what she wants. She's temporary, but it's only temporary. And that's what I think a lot of these judges are doing is they want to frustrate the Trump administration and make them spend as much time in court as possible. Even when they know they're going to lose, they won by making him spend time in court. And they're delaying the inevitable. But every delay, no matter how short the delay is a win for them. If a week or two delay, well, that's just great. That's a week or two more that those illegals are still in the country, and they consider that to be a win. Oh, that hurt. Um, when Brian Murphy of the Federal District of Massachusetts, again another Biden appointee, issued an injunction in April against the transfer of deportable illegals. A majority on the Supreme Court issued a stay on Murphy's order. That means, hey, that order doesn't play. Not until it's heard, until the appeals go through. So, that that order by Murphy does not exist. Oh, Raman, don't even go there. I spent so much time on the phone and everything this morning, I didn't get a chance to eat breakfast. However, the Biden-appointed judge decided his order remained in effect, citing a dissent from Sotomayor. A dissent, not the primary ruling, but a dissenting ruling. A dissent. One of the two judges who disagreed with the majority. The Supreme Court ruled in the administration's favor again in a 7-2 decision in July, allowing the Trump administration to deport groups of migrants to South Sudan, confirming Murphy's rulings to be void. Judge Michael Simon, an Obama appointee, ruled in July that the Homeland Security could not engage in wide-scale parole status terminations for migrants. The Obama-appointed judge cited other lower court decisions that probed similar actions, but did not mention the Supreme Court stayed those decisions at least 30 days earlier. Those decisions were null and void. But according to Simon, we can ignore the Supreme Court. In May, the Supreme Court squashed orders from another district court that had blocked Donald Trump's dismissal of 2 members of the National Labor Relations Board and the Mayor's Protection. The ruling found the federal agencies was likely to prevail due to substantial executive power exercised by these 2 agencies. Anybody in the executive branch works there at the will of the president. He can not like your color, the type of shoes you're wearing, or the color of your tie or blouse, and sorry, you don't work here anymore. He doesn't need a reason to get rid of you. And to make this even worse, okay, this is how bad these activist judges gotten. Okay, the Little Sisters of the Poor. You remember them? They're a group of nuns who work with poor people. It's a religious group. Little Sisters of the Poor and latest contraception lawsuit. A federal court has ruled against the Little Sisters of the Poor, in their long-running legal dispute over government contraceptive mandates. This is by Obama. Dealing a blow to the religious order of sisters even after multiple court victories, including at the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court ruled that they did not have to, because they are a Catholic services. They do not believe in contraception as part of their religion. You can't take the pill. You can't use condoms. The only thing is the rhythm method, or you don't have sex. You don't have the type of sex that causes pregnancy. That's your only options. You got the rhythm method, which fails quite often. You've got the abstinence, or you have ways of pleasuring that does not involve the at the actions which could or would end up in pregnancy. There's lots of ways to have sex without getting someone pregnant. So they do not want to supply contraceptive. Plain and simple. The Supreme Court said they didn't have to because it violates that. It's against their religion. The legal advocacy group Beckett said on that the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Pennsylvania ruled in favor of both New Jersey and Pennsylvania in finding the federal government had not followed protocol when issuing exemptions for contraceptive requirements, including for the Little Sisters. The district court said the set of religious exemptions granted by the federal government during the first Trump administration were arbitrary and capricious and failed to adhere to the requirements of the Federal Administrative Procedure Act. The court vacated those exemptions in their entirety. Deanna Thompson, a senior attorney with Beckett, told CNA that the case is the same one that saw the Little Sisters win a victory at the U.S. Supreme Court in 2020, when a majority of the court justices said the exemptions to the contraceptive mandate were legal. So what happened? Pennsylvania and New Jersey revitalized their cutting floor arguments that they chose not to pursue at the Supreme Court last time and brought them to the district court. Oh, we didn't use these arguments, so we're going to use them now. We didn't use them when we lost at the Supreme Court, so we're going to use these arguments now and see if we can get them to win. And they got a district judge to agree with them. Unfreaking believable. I'm surprised Pennsylvania and New Jersey didn't go after Hobby Lobby or Chick-fil-A. How dare you be closed on Sundays? How dare you be, follow be closed because, the dictates of a religion. Doesn't Chick-fil-A have little Bible verses on the bottom of their coffee cups and such? How dare you do that? Push the Christian religion or practice the Christian religion like that. You don't have the right to do that. But these same people that are saying the little sisters don't have the right not to push contraceptives because of their religion are the same people that say a 10-year-old can mutilate their body because they think they're a boy or a girl that they're not. Even saying, nope, 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 we're not going to go with what the Supreme Court ruled. We already know the Supreme Court ruled on these on arguments before, but now these are new arguments. Are they trying to bankrupt the Little Sisters? Is that what's going on here? They're trying to bankrupt them through the legal process? Because I don't know if this Beckett group are doing them pro bono or not. New Jersey and Pennsylvania had brought the lawsuit against multiple agencies and officials, though the Little Sisters of the Poor were attached to the lawsuit as the defendant interveners. Absolutely ridiculous. And once again, a district court issuing nationwide rulings. Not a district-wide rulings, but nationwide. One of the 600 district judges issuing nationwide rulings. Absolutely the wonder. I just, I've got to shake my head. Yes, I know there are activist conservative judges out there. I know there are. Out of the 600, how many do you think are conservative judges? Remember during Trump's first administration, the left went crazy. Look at this. He's appointing all these judges. This this is wrong. He's stacking the courts. But not too long ago, during Biden's administration, there towards the end, Chucky Schumer got up there and the courts praised the number of judges that the Democrats pushed through. Which is actually more judges than what Trump got through on his first administration. But they're praising that as wonderful for the protection of democracy. That all these liberal judges are being appointed. And we saw the hearings for a lot of these judges. I played the videos of the hearings. judges who put men into women's prisons and said, yeah, no, there's not going to be any problems there. Oh, I'd love to see that try to happen there, old guy. That'd be a trip. I don't understand the hard on Pennsylvania and New Jersey has for the Little Sisters. One group of people won't supply contraceptives, and two states' attorney generals bring lawsuits against them. 5 years after the Supreme Court ruled in their favor, they dig up new arguments and go after them, target them. One group, one religious group. I it it I it shatters my brain. And then I've got to wonder if this wasn't a Christian group, Catholic group, if it was a Muslim group, the Little Sisters of Allah, would New York and New Jersey have gone after them? I got my hands thrown in there saying, yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think they would because they don't want to make Muslims mad at them. I would say so there, old guy. I, I, when when a judge does that, I really wish there was a way that the Supreme Court could reach out, slap down that judge, and remove him from office. Pow, you're no longer a judge. You're no longer a district judge. You're out of there, effective immediately. Because what that judge did was so. I mean, it's such a blatant violation that and I don't care what the party is of the judge who appointed him. I don't care if it's a Reagan appointee, a Bush appointee, a Trump appointee, an Obama, Biden, Carter appointee. I think there's still some Carter appointees out there. I know there's one or two Reagan appointees still on the sitting the bench. But any judge that steps up and does this kind of crap needs to be removed from the bench. They've all been warned. They've all been warned once by the Supreme Court that they don't have nationwide authority. So, and okay, we'll stop with that. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, close that one. Why do I still have a tab open about corn dogs? I don't know. I have no idea why I still have a tab open about corn dogs or chili cheese dogs. Oh, ramen. I've got to show that video you sent me. Can I open that video? There it is. Let's take a break from serious stuff here for a moment and do a little comedy. Ramen shared this with me this morning, and I think it is cute.
Yeah.
The way she crossed her eyes, the way she's got her eyes crossed there, I mean, I just could not help but pause that and laugh at it the first time I saw it. That is just so cute. And her giggle is absolutely infectious. I hope that I hope that tastes good. I'll bet her mama about had everything but a heart attack. I'll bet her mama had it. I know that'd scare the hell out of me if my wife ever did that to me. That would absolutely. Now, see, the other morning I was at work and one of my bosses walks their dog in the morning and they walk right past my truck. And usually I'm doing something else, so I don't see him walk past the truck. But that morning I did. And I just happened to have my car keys in my hand. And as they were coming up to my truck, I had my thumb on the alarm button and I was going to push it. And then I thought about their 15-year-old Jack Russell that they got. And I didn't want to give that poor little puppy a heart attack. But I so wanted to kick that alarm off on my truck just to give him a little something to scare the bejesus out of him. Cause I think that would have been funny. I re- I really wanted to do it. Okay, I want to save that. Okay, now I and because I spent so much time working on everything else that's been going on since computers and printers and booking airline tickets. I really wanted to get into the what's going on in Washington D.C. with Trump taking over the basically taking over the police department and saying y'all have done a crappy job I'm going to federalize you. I'm going to bring in the FBI. I'm going to bring in uh, the National Guard. And I want to say right now, I'm tired of hearing the Democrats lie. I am sick and tired every time a Democrat gets up there and starts talking about this. And one of the first things that comes out of their mouth is Trump didn't bring out the National Guard in D.C. for January 6th when there was a real potential for a riot. Why is he doing it now? Trump wanted to. The police wanted the National Guard. It was Nancy Pelosi and the man at arms or of the House did not approve it. It was the Democrats that prevented the National Guard from being in place before anything happened. It was Nancy Pelosi and her man at arms that did it, that prevented the National Guard. It wasn't Trump. Trump recommended it days before, but he couldn't order it out there. They had to follow procedures. Now Trump's using a different set of procedures, different authorization now than what was available to him on January 6th. But every time the Democrats get up there, and I heard it again last night, after it's been debunked hundreds of times, heard a Democrat get up there last night and say that Trump didn't do it on January 6th. Why is he doing it now? This is just a diversion. Now, this may be a diversion. This may be, but it's a diversion that's needed. And then we keep hearing the Democrats lying about, well, crime was going down in D.C. Just look at the FBI files. Under the Obama administration, I don't know if this is still true or not. I need to look into it. But under the Obama administration, cities and states were no longer required to report all crime like they had been before. They changed the rules. So they didn't have to report all the crimes that was going on. They could cherry pick what they wanted to report. And of course, when you're allowed to cherry pick what you're going to report what makes you look the best. You're not going to report the stuff that makes you look bad. But that's exactly what happened. Okay, I need to look at something here real quick. Okay, 12 o'clock. Okay, and it's 10:30 right now. All right, I can go about another 15 minutes then. I've got to get ready to leave for a 12 o'clock doctor's appointment with my neurologist. Yay! Tell him I need more pain pills prescribed. Yay! Ask them if they can step them up just a tad so I can get some sleep at night. But anyway, and the thing is, none of the reporters called out the Democrat for saying it. Not a single reporter called him out for saying it. They didn't question him. They let him put that out there, and none of them questioned him on it. None of them brought him up and said he was lying or that he was wrong or he was misrepresenting the truth. And if you want, I will get the documentation and I will present it and I will show you again that it wasn't Trump's fault the National Guard wasn't in place. Oh, great. That's good news. Now, so you're going to be on a liquid straw diet there for a while after that, there, old guy? Speaking of that, I need to get in touch with Eagle and see how he's doing. I hope you guys. I hope everybody's aware the Eagle. He's battling a bit of cancer. So, uh, prayers, and if you don't pray, thoughts and wishes. Uh, we want him to get well. And yes, I even, I even want Joe Biden. I even pray for Joe Biden's cancer because I don't want people to die from cancer. I really and truly, and I don't care who you are. I really truly wish that there was a cure for all cancers. Something simple. A pill, a shot, a one-time treatment that cured a person of cancer. And I don't care what type it was of cancer, man. You just spin that dial to the type of cancer need that you're treating, and boom, that person's treated. Over and done with. Cancer gone, person in good shape. I'd love to see that to happen. No straw, no sucking. Yogurt, cottage cheese, and soup. Maybe some smooshed up stuff. Lots of mashed potatoes, huh? With finely ground hamburger into it. Because if you can do the curds of cottage cheese, finely ground, the Taco Bell type hamburger. Go to have somebody go to Taco Bell for you and scoop out their taco meat and mix it into mashed potatoes for you. That actually sounds pretty good because I do like when I was growing up, my dad would take leftover hamburgers, meat that had been browned up for something, and make up mashed potatoes and mix it all together, and then make a potato pancake out of it. Add in an egg, a little bit of flour, and make a potato pancake, fry it up, and that'd be our breakfast. That's something I haven't done. I always make extra pancake so I can make potato pancakes, but I've never done that. Should only be a week or so. Oh, okay. So you'll only drop about 5 or 10 pounds then. That's okay. I'll tell you, my most weight loss that I ever had was when I was in the service and I was on an IV diet for 3 months. I went from 195 pounds to 160 over that 3 months. And my uniforms just hung on me. I come back to work and the supervisor, my shift supervisor, took one look at me and says, "You ain't working by yourself. Are you strong enough to even carry a toolbox?" And I honestly, I did not know whether or not I was strong enough to carry a toolbox because I mean, I'm an IV diet for 3 months, man. You will drop every ounce of weight that can be dropped. Like I said, I dropped 30 pounds in 3 months. And I mean, I was just going from 195 to 160. So I dropped 35 pounds. I went from 195 to 160. And for somebody that's 6'3", 160 is really, really skinny. Good God. Wait, you got a 15-inch waistline? 138 pounds? 31-inch. Oh, Lord have mercy. You're right. You can't afford to lose any weight. You're a walking scarecrow. I'm just trying to get down to 200 pounds. I'm just trying to get back down to 200. But anyway, all right, guys. I've got to go get ready to go see my neurologist, and that includes taking Spanky out for a walk so he doesn't pee in the house while I'm gone. Uh, so everybody, try to have a good day. Let's see. Today is Thursday, so that I don't know what I'm going to do about tomorrow because there's so much stuff going on in the news. But oh, by the way, if you have a KitchenAid, KitchenAid has released a juicer as an attachment. It's only $50. I'm considering getting it. Oh, congratulations, Paul. I'm I'm trying. I'm going to celebrate when I bust 300 on the way down. When I get down to 299, I'm going to have a celebration. I may actually bake a cake and have a slice. Bake a personal size cake. But anyway, y'all have a good day. We'll be back tomorrow. No, I am not going to do a set. I tell you, it took me. I still haven't listened to all of Monkey's 7 hour stream, but 7 hours on that one woman, though, man. So y'all have a good day. Enjoy yourselves. Be with the ones you love, and love the ones that you're with.